I'm old school. I learned and listened from yesterday. I didn't have to have a PowerPoint presentation to get my message across. I don't know what to say to you now. You know your organization. Kathy has just hit upon everything that CCUMC is. So what's left for me? All I can say is we're the grandparents of this group. CCUMC started back in the 1970s. They started as an organization of individuals that are in the film media libraries. When I say film, this is probably going to date some of you, or definitely will date me. How many remember 16 millimeters? Wow, how many still have 16 millimeters? One hand? Two hands? Oh, okay, okay. Well, in the U.S., we've done away with 16 millimeters in the higher ed. We went to VHS tapes. They were phased out now. So, you know, and then we've gone digital. But when we started as an organization, I wasn't there, but Indiana University, which is my home institution, was one of the founding universities within the organization. There was 5 separate organizations, and they pooled together because they needed a way to share 16 millimeter films. How can I buy a 16 millimeter film at today's cost and have my neighbor just across the state line buy the same film? Why are we spending so much money? Let's do an interdepartmental loan, but instead of an interdepartmental loan, it's an inter-university loan. And so they formed the consortium of, back then it was the University of Film Media, or Centers. And it was basically library-based. And since then, we've transitioned with time, and we keep transitioning as we have over the last few years. And we're moving to more and more technology online. I can walk here into this conference and feel like I'm in CCUMC, other than there's a little difference in the language. Meaning, I'm American and you're a little British, and some of them are a little more Wales, and you know, depending on where you're from, I really have to concentrate on what you're saying and try to do some lip reading, and I'm sure it's the same for you with me because some of our terminology is different. But in any case, CCUMC has been around for a number of years. Our membership has grown. Currently, we have approximately 700 individual members within our organization. Our goal is to have 1,000, but we find with budgets, it fluctuates year to year. I just pulled some statistics to sort of just tell you how many members we've had, and I've gone back a few years. We run on a fiscal year that starts July 1 through June 30. And for our fiscal year ending 2011, we had 612 members. So currently, in the fiscal year ending at the end of this month, we'll have more than 669. So, you know, it's up there in the 700, low 700 range. So you can see in about 5 years, we've increased in about 80 members, which, you know, we'd like to do more of that. We have 207 member institutions, different individual member institutions. How many here are from the same university? So there's 2 of you here?
Yes.
What's the maximum number? Would you say 2? We have some institutions that have more than 6 members within their organization, within their organization membership. So we have 13 different individual universities that have more than 6 members paying as a member. We have a number of them that will send 4 and 5 members to the conference. So on average, I'd like to sort of get feedback from you as well as sort of tell you about CCUMC. How many members, what's the maximum number of members you have in an institution?
We have an institutional membership.
It's all individual, okay.
It's not individual. The institution is the member, not the person.
Okay.
So the institution has a representative, And then we also have what we call a corresponding member. There's only one voting member.
So you can have two?
You can have a corresponding member as well.
Okay,
But
okay,
there'll only be one voting member from an institution.
okay. Well, that's good to know. But I am learning, so. In any case, we have corporate members. Probably back 30 years ago, they started bringing in corporate members into the institution. It's an institutional membership, basically, but we also have corporate members because it was such a partnership with the film libraries and interchanging with getting discounts, and that the board of directors brought in the corporate world. And we've continued on with the corporate world, where now we have, currently in this fiscal year, we have 71 corporate members. That's individuals that are within the U.S. We do have a Canadian, and we do have, we're working on a couple internationals. But overall, we have 71 different individuals. So if you put the 71 with our institutional members, that will definitely get our numbers up quite a bit. That will give us a total of almost 800 individual members within our organization. The governing board is a president, a past president, and an incoming president. We have a secretary, a treasurer, we have 4 institutional directors, and we have 2 corporate directors, meaning that they're elected positions that within the institutional membership, they will be voting on delegates to run for the board and represent them as a governing body. We do the same thing with the corporate side. We want to make sure that they have some rights in the membership and the rules and regulations that we follow. They are the ones that have basically put on our corporate showcase. We have a one-day showcase at our conference, and that governing body of corporate members said, you know, why don't you give us an exhibit area? So we started back in the late 90s, mid-90s, doing a showcase. One day, come in and out in one day. That they would come in, exactly what you've got set up here, and they were given the opportunity to take people out to dinner. They could do, you know, other things, but the body now is saying that they want to restrict the night out on their own with the individual corporate world, and that's come down from the corporate directors. They don't want the membership taken away from our outings out, so that they're, you know, individualized. Okay, I'm Extron, I'm going to take you to this restaurant. I'm, you know, AMX, I'm going to take you here, so that you're pulled different directions. So, you know, it gets touchy when you have a big organization, is all I can say. And you try to make sure that everyone is taken care of, that you take all sides into consideration, and just sort of work with each other. And, you know, I look for both of these groups to move to this stage at some point in the future, and I'm hoping that's maybe one of your goals, that, you know, you're going to continue growing, which I know you are, and that you will think about other avenues. Ours is not perfect. We have been there, but, you know, we're learning from you as well. We need to structure ourselves, and this is what we're all trying to do, so that the 3 organizations are cooperating with each other. We're sharing ideas, so that's why we're trying to start the monthly meetings, so that we can share ideas and concerns and how we're developing and how we're moving forward. What works for you? How can we enhance our level of membership? Following the scheme that you started here, we've now approached Infocom, trying to determine whether we can get a discount with membership, giving our members, you know, either a discount for Infocom, a discount on our conference registration, a discount on our membership, to try to give them more bangs for their bucks, as they say. because budgets are tight, they're getting tighter. Finances are quite limited on all campuses, whether you're a Big Ten, a small institution. So by doing what we can to help our members be members of all the organizations is going to be vital to them in the future. We're also then trying to increase our training facility for members, trying to get Infocom training to come to the conference. Instead of them having to travel to, in our case, travel to Florida or travel to Vegas for the annual Infocom show plus trainings, or to travel to Fairfax, that they can come to our conference, then be there for an extra day or two and do training, get the credits that they need. We are doing that in a form now that we started probably 6 years ago, and we have pre-conference workshops. And by coming in, our members can take either a half-day or a full-day workshop. And it started out with government regulations because of the copyright rules and regulations in the states. We started doing a workshop on how you handle copyright. How do we interface with the different issues that's brought forth? How do we have government representation? How do we have a forum to talk about copyright on an educational level? What can an instructor do, in a classroom? What's not proper? So we started with workshops on government regulations and copyright. Now we're primarily focusing on training. What we can give those members that want to come in and get some RU credit. We've had RF training. We've had actually an Infocom instructor come in on 2 different occasions and do half days. This year we're going to have 3 different sessions. One is a full day. It's going to be on RF frequencies, RF issues that you're facing in a classroom. We're having a manufacturer come in, and we always tell them, if you're doing a presentation, it cannot be your product. It has to be informational only. So they're going to come in and talk, how do you select a screen? How do you determine what's the best that you're going to need in a room like this to do a presentation? You're going to look at film or fabrics. You're going to look at, focal lengths that might be needed, acoustic treatments in the room. So they're going to step out of that boundary of just the screen, but it's going to be a full package so that you're going to walk away with knowing a little bit more about how you select, how you determine what's the best. If should I be looking at this? How do I look at a room? So, they're going to walk out with hopefully RU credits and also knowledge that they couldn't get otherwise. You sure can't do some of this in an hour session. Then our conference. Our conference is 4 days long. And you're thinking, boy, after I'm here 2 days and all of the sessions you have, how do you do 4 days? Well, we put a lot into that. We have 37 different sessions during those 4 days. And I guarantee you're tired. Caroline, what do you think about the conference?
It was intense, but actually I think it worked as a format. I think it worked really well. I slept well on Sunday though.
We're there to educate you. We're there for the networking. We're there to have fun. We're like you. We want to have fun. We have our evening social networking. We have our cash bars. We have what we call dinner on your own, so that you have the opportunity, if you meet someone for the first time, you can go out to dinner, share a table, learn more about them, more about their organization, and it broadens that knowledge across the U.S. because we have found the most benefit that we give our members is our listserv. And there's not a day that goes by that our listserv doesn't have a question that pops up. How are you handling, I'm not picking on any vendor, how do you handle the upgrades that you're getting from Echo 360? Are they working? Mine's not. And it's just a way to, it's back in the old days. How do I share a film? How do I get reviews that are really factual from our institutional level for our college levels. So it's the same thing. It's like, I did that, but it's not working. You have to do this. Or what projector are you using now for laser? Which is your favorite laser? Why do you select that one? It's getting people that are out there doing the same thing that you're doing. And our listserv is one of our best assets that we have for the organization. That's pretty much all I have to say, other than we are planning to increase our trainings. We are wanting to see how we can broaden our relationships with other organizations, how we can do more with Infocom. Are there other organizations out there that we should be considering other than Infocom as a real strength? So it's a learning curve constantly. My position is the executive director. I have been the executive director since 2007. Prior to that, there had been 4 gentlemen that had been executive directors since the inception in 1974. They've always been housed on what the states call a Big Ten university. We've not had anyone contracted out to do our management. We have always been on a campus because the board has felt that you've got the atmosphere that's conducive to having the staff, the environment, and also the familiarity with what's going on with your membership. It's one of those things that you can take it 2 different ways. It would broaden it if you have, I think, I'm not sure, does Catherine do a lot of I know she does the conference planning, but does she do a lot more than the conference planning, or she just do your management behind the scenes?
Our administration tells us what to do.
Okay. The board previously relied on part-time staff at the institution. But when we moved the executive office to Indiana University, one of the requirements was that we had to have a full-time paid staff person. So we have a lady by the name of Kirsten Phillips. She and I drove across the states from Indiana to Iowa, packed up all the office material, put it in the back of a minivan, and drove it to Indiana. And it's been there ever since. Kirsten took a leave of about 13 months. She thought she wanted another job. And so she took another position, and the position didn't work out for her, and the person that I hired to fill her position didn't work out. So Kirsten's back with us. And she's a blessing. She does a lot. She does our web base. She does all of our member registrations. Anything that a member wants, she's the go-to person, sort of like Catherine. But we do have our treasurer then takes care of all the finances. We receive it in the executive office, and then we make the deposits or do the daily credit card batch reports. But my position is I'm a full-time employee of Indiana University, and I have been for a number of years. I heard you say earlier that you started with audiovisual. When I started at Indiana University, I started in audiovisual. Back when we had the 35mm slide projectors and the lantern slide projectors, the transparencies, and all of the good old analog hardware. And when we moved to VHS tape, I had hourly students that would deliver televisions to the classroom. They would push a television with a VCR player on a shelf below into the classroom for that period because they had to be scheduled, and then take them out at the end. So, my history with audiovisual, audio, and the love for this environment goes way back. I think once you're a techie, always a techie, and I've moved up the ranks within. So the position was open. The board could not find anyone that was university-based that would be able to take on the position, as well as the campus or university accepting the office there. That was the big hurdle, is trying to find a university would let an organization come in and take up office space. We're short on office space, we're short on classroom space. Why would we give up space? But Indiana University, being one of the founding fathers of CCMC, And my director was one of those individuals that was on the original board of directors and had been a member for years and years, said, Aileen, you can do it. I'd been on the board of directors, I was treasurer, I was to be incoming president. So I said, I can't do that. I can't be an executive director for this organization. They're too wonderful, you know. I thought, you know, I just couldn't do it. So between the board of directors and my director saying you could do it, then we pursued having Indiana University accept the organization. So since then, this doesn't leave Europe, okay? My CCMC doesn't pay my university office space rental. They hire Kirsten in the position, but we as an organization reimburse every penny back for her employment. We're able to tap into the technology within the university at no charge. We get, you know, all kinds of services as if we were a department on campus. We are within my home department, which is classroom technology under the IT department. It's just been a great relationship, and you know, it's something that has worked for us, and it's something quite valuable. I've chatted enough, and I know you're standing here. I do want to do two more things.
That's fine.
How many are first-timers to this conference? Now, don't think this is hokey. Keep your hands up. We like to recognize our first-timers in our organization at the conference. Huh?
We let them buy the drinks.
Did he make you buy drinks? Okay, so just remember, first-timers, you've got a sister organization in the U.S. There is our contact information. Hands up, hands up. If you need someone to talk to, if you need another resource, jump on our website, send us an email.
Get them on a horse.
Can I hear you're retiring? Any others? But the rest of you, go to ccumc.org. You'll find us there. If there's anything that's not there that you would like information, send us an email. We'll be glad to work with you. You've got the same issues, you've got the same problems, whether it's your organization, your university. And, you know, the states, they don't have it all. We're not the greatest, but we're open, we're sharing, and, you know, it's just a great opportunity for all of us to sort of, you know, partner up, move forward, and become a greater organization. The one last thing that I have is, and I promise this is it. Okay, somebody read this for me.
So,
Read the whole paragraph.
my glasses aren't that good, I can read it.
Somebody up front.
SCOG's members design, develop, deliver and support existing and new learning environments and technologies.
Do most of you agree with that statement?
Yeah.
That's us, exactly.